If you could go back,
Does that have anything to do with
and what if that was your last chance?
seeing how things turned out? Would you now change?
Was that your
I
decision?
can't imagine what that would feel like.
We want to know.
We want to know.
We want to know.
We want to know.
We wanna know.
People say that within every person there is a whole galaxy.
We want to know.
Are people right?
From the creators of American in Yerevan, Ina MK,
And Stephen Oxner,
Homesick.
at home.
Have you ever felt that way?
Shot City.
Coming home again.
Hello, and welcome to Homesick at Home, English-speaking evening show. And this was the classic way how Stephen Oxner used to start the show. Who is this? Stephen!
Hello, Yerevan. Hello.
Hello, Stephen.
Oh, it's so good to be back.
Yeah, and this is a very nostalgic episode tonight. Because we have you back here, and it's kind of... I was even about to say American in Yerevan, and then I went like, yeah, homesick at home.
Wait.
Yeah, wait. So, Steven, how does it feel back there?
I was sitting
DJ's?
behind all of my homies. I've got my homies. Here's my pult.
Here's my pult.
I've
He doesn't know the English word. Ladies and
got my
gentlemen.
computer. I've got the screens. Oh, we've got the great. Man, I'm forgetting all my words today. All our clips from. We had a great birthday this past year. 18 years old, and so we became adults here at Radio Von. We were able to make clips that were very adult, with adult content here.
And you know who's Steven talking to right now?
Who am I talking to?
The guy on the red couch. He is the marketing director for Homeland Development Initiative Foundation, Sean Chakmak. Hello.
That's right. Hi,
Good
guys.
evening.
Great to be here.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. Very good.
Feeling comfortable?
Very comfortable. You guys
Have
have
you-
a great space over here. Great
did
people,
you,
great
Did you
environment.
turn the sound of your...
No, but I will do that right now.
Because you might get
Sorry.
called. You know that your friends can watch you right now
Yeah,
on
I'm really
air.
popular. Like, they call me all the time.
So on our Facebook page, there is now a live broadcast,
Very cool.
video broadcast, so your friends can watch you on air.
Awesome.
And we have a first question, I think.
Oh, we have a first
coming.
question.
Do we?
Yeah, we have thousands of questions.
Okay.
Usually.
You
Do
want
you
to
have
go
any
first?
phobias, for example?
Yeah,
Do you have any? You do?
I do.
What is it? What?
When people wear sweatpants out of the house.
Oh, come on! You gotta
Drives
be
me
kidding
up the
me.
wall. I can't.
You can't
I
stand it
can't.
when people wear sweatpants on.
Yeah.
You must have a pretty hard time here in Armenia,
Yeah.
especially if you live in my
The
neighborhood of
sweatpant game is
Bangladesh.
real in this country.
Fear is really real here in Armenia.
And now we
It's
know
a dangerous
the-
place for Sean. To
Yeah, yeah.
Now we know
Big time.
the answer to the second question. What do you hate about Armenia?
Oh.
It's the same, the same pants. Okay.
Wait, what about like sport? You know the sports suits?
They're better. Like,
That's
better.
okay. That's
to,
tolerable.
like, yeah, it's a step up. But
Yeah.
Still, like,
But
put on
sweatpants.
some jeans, man.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah, that is tricky. Do you have any other phobias? Are you afraid of heights?
No,
So not afraid of spiders?
no,
Are you afraid of small spaces?
a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like-
So
Soviet
if you were in a small
elevators?
room with 7 men who were all wearing sweatpants,
Oh,
what would that be?
damn! Don't. I don't even want to think about it.
He's panicking now.
Yeah, get me out of here.
Okay, calm down. Change the
Change the
subject. Change the subject.
Okay, let's talk about your last name.
Okay.
Because we heard half a part of the interesting story before we came on air. But we want to hear it right now, right here.
Yeah.
Go
so,
ahead, Chakmak. Because I have
Chakmak.
friends, Armenians,
Mm-hmm.
who live in the US. Their last name is Chakmakyan.
Yeah.
So what about you? Where did the Yan go?
So my grandfather was born in Turkey, and because his family was there and in a tough situation, they had to remove the Ayan from their last name so people wouldn't know that they're Armenian. And that obviously followed us as my family went from there to Lebanon and then now to Canada. And a lot of people ask me now that we're in a safe situation and there's no fear of being an Armenian in Canada, why we don't add the IAN back. And for me, it's really a part of our family's history and the fact that my grandfather, being in Turkey, was forced to take the IAN out of his last name, but his family, and now 2 generations later, we're still Armenian. So do whatever you want to my name, to my last name, but I'm still gonna remain Armenian.
Yeah, so you have the IAN inside. You
Yeah,
don't, you
exactly.
don't have to.
I don't need that on a
That
piece
makes
of
sense.
paper.
You know, have you heard this joke? It's an American joke. You can take
It's coming up.
the girl out of the trailer park, but
Yeah.
you can't take the trailer
There you
park out
go.
of the girl.
There you go.
There is-
So
Trailer
you can
park's
take
still in
you
me.
can take the IAN out of the Armenian, but you can't take the Armenian out
Yeah.
of the IAN.
There you go.
There is
There
a
you
Russian
go.
version like that.
Yeah,
A
it's,
girl can leave the village, but the village will never leave.
That's
Okay.
it.
Well, oh,
That's
it's
it.
so great, man!
Yeah.
It's like a revolutionary concept. It's almost
Yeah.
like it's a concept that kind of works in the opposite way of logic. But I'm so glad that you have such strength to do that.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's great.
And he
Feels
was ready for those questions, I think.
Oh yeah,
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Just like
Okay.
you are already, like you were asked all the time. How could you leave America and come to Armenia? How did you do that?
oh yeah. I had a whole dissertation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost that.
Just becomes like your elevator spiel when you get into a cab.
Exactly.
So how did you end up in Armenia?
Yeah.
So
Because
This is the
I
question.
came to Armenia last May with Birthright.
Mm-hmm.
And I started off volunteering in the public sector because I have a political science background,
Mm-hmm.
but that just wasn't for me. And so I ended up volunteering for HDIF, and I just really fell in love with the job, and I fell in love with the country, and got exposed to Armenia in a way that I never thought I could, despite having been a really active member of my Armenian community back home. And I went to an Armenian school for 11 years. So I thought that I had a really clear understanding of Armenia's reality, but that really wasn't true. So I got to come out here for 4 months and really experience that. And at the end of the day, I got offered a job, which was huge. It was really great. And I had a job waiting for me back home, so that was a little bit difficult. I went back for about 3 weeks, but the decision was very clear. I knew I had to come back. So here I am.
Holy smokes! And what were some of the misconceptions that you had about Armenian culture, which were shattered?
So it was mostly just being exposed to Armenia in a way that it wasn't something that was sort of real, a place that you could live. It was like almost portrayed to us as this like fantasy land, and this concept. It wasn't like a real place. It wasn't tangible. It wasn't somewhere where you can go and live, and what the feasibility of that is. It was those concepts that were just never exposed. I was never exposed to. It was always just Armenia was a cause in for lack of a better word, and we were just working towards that cause. But it wasn't somewhere that we can go and live.
And what was the cause to keep Armenian culture elsewhere?
Yeah, it was to remain Armenian as an Armenian in the diaspora.
Yeah, against all odds.
Yeah,
Of Canadian
yeah,
culture
and exactly.
globalization.
Exactly.
Holy smokes.
Exactly. Yeah, it was really frustrating, to be honest, to have to I felt like I should have been the last person to have such a skewed understanding of Armenia's reality, but I did. It's sad, but I did. I think that a lot of people walk into those community centers and become active members of that community to sort of feel a sense of mental comfort that they can be an Armenian living in a diaspora and still remain Armenian.
Yeah.
And it's just such a struggle. It's such a struggle, like to devote that much time and energy just to maintain your identity.
Oh my
is
gosh.
like, why? Why?
Why do you
Amazing.
think
So
this
you-
is so important? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Excuse me. Can I go home? Yeah. Okay. Why do you think this is so important for Armenians, for diaspora and Armenians? Because you often can hear like an Italian living in America or Canada. They don't really
Yeah, like The Godfather.
necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah, second generation. There's no Italian culture left there. It's just all guns and money and prostitutes.
It's a good question, and I don't know if I have a really clear answer to that, but I think it's just it comes from our culture and our heritage, and it being so strong. And when your parents feel something from that culture and they pass it down to you, you want to maintain it yourself, and coming to Armenia and being exposed to so many repats, like young repats who really didn't have a connection to like their Armenian community back home, but still felt something to like want to come back and volunteer here and connect back with their roots, is really incredible to see. So like I could kind of say on one hand, like it was being an active member of the community, and that's where it came from for me, but coming and meeting so many people who didn't have that background was like really interesting. So that kind of screwed with my head as to where it might come from.
Oh wow,
And
yeah.
I don't know.
Keep that in mind because we need to go on a break,
Yeah.
right, Steven?
This is turning out to be quite an incredibly relaxed and patriotic episode. So stick around. We're still here until 10, right? Until 10.
Right,
Is that how it goes
right.
still? Okay. We're going to go to a quick break, and we're here with Shant, which means thunder. It's thunder time.
Yeah, 103.9.
Ina MK.
And Steven Oxner.
Every Friday night
With someone new. Homesick.
at home.
That's almost the worst jingle that we could put on for today because you're sitting between two people who really wanted to come home. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be here with the two of you, three of you. Hi, Mary's with us as usual.
Mary is in the invisible helping hand.
Oh, she keeps everything under control,
Yeah.
including us, all the computers, all the microphones. That was the squeaking chair of love.
Who's gonna deal with that?
Squeaking chair of love.
Okay, here's another question. What do you believe in, Shant?
What do I believe in? That's a good question, I think. I guess I believe in every person striving to be the best version of themselves, no matter what that is, and not letting any sort of pressure tell you otherwise in terms of pursuing something that you feel like you shouldn't to appease any sort of societal pressure, because I think that just puts us as humanity and society in a really bad place when everyone strives to do what they feel like they should do and that way can be the best version of themselves. Then we will be the best version of society.
Oh yeah.
But how to know who is that?
Yeah.
That's-
How do you
Who
find
is
out
that
who
you?
that is?
Yeah.
It's a really, really tough thing to do, and I think it takes time. It takes traveling. It takes sort of just self-reflection to sort of identify if the steps that you're taking are for yourself or for somebody else. Is this what you want to do, or is this what you feel like you should be doing because the people around you tell you that that's what you need to be doing?
Right.
Yeah. So there's a bit of forgetting, I think, in this,
Yeah.
because there's so much that we collect in our childhood, especially like
For sure.
get good grades,
For sure.
don't lie.
Yeah.
So like
me,
it's all kind of like some good stuff and some other stuff.
yeah,
you know?
for me it was like a lot of it was being able to distance myself from the environment in which I was in for such a long period of time,
Okay.
and just gaining that distance gave me a lot of perspective. So I think that's like a tool that some people can use, is just sort of change your environment, try something new, try something different, and that might give you a lot of perspective on sort of how much what you were doing is what you wanted to do,
Oh yeah.
is trying something new.
Does this have something to do with you moving to Armenia, or did
It
this happen
does.
before?
I think there was something in me that wanted that change of environment, and Armenia just sort of presented itself as an option.
Okay.
So I think that yes, Armenia does have something to do with that, but if it wasn't Armenia, it could have been something else. It
Sure.
just sort of worked out that way.
And did a lot of people tell you not to do it, or ask you why you're doing it?
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
I mean,
And speaking of pressure, and
yeah. I, from my family's perspective, I had a lot of support and a lot of love, and just telling me to do what makes me happy and then to follow my heart and make that decision. But the job that I turned down at home, some people told me that I was crazy for doing that. And so, I mean, just like from the money to the position, and that was something that I had really been working towards for a long time. So a lot of people were like, what are you doing?
Do you miss that job, by the way?
No, not at all. I don't regret my decision at all. I mean, for me, gaining that distance and from that environment that I was in really gave me that understanding of that's not what I wanted for myself, you know? And I think there was something subconscious that sort of forced me to get out of that environment, you know? And so when Armenia presented itself as an option, I just jumped on it. Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the foundation? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Ina?
I'd love to.
I have to check with Ina
course.
because she's in charge.
Come on, Steven.
So-
you're the boss tonight, so don't make fun of me.
HDIF functions as a job creation organization primarily for women in the regions of Armenia. So we take traditional skills that women possess and design products in accordance with those skills that we know we can market and sell, and in turn have created a source of income for about 200 women in Armenia.
Oh man! And what kind of products do they end up being?
It's a lot of handmade things. Crochet, which is like a hand sewing technique, is a lot of women in Armenia know how to do that at an exceptional quality. So what they're lacking usually is like design and access to the market. So we're able to provide that for them. Our organization is the first in all of the former Soviet Union to be a member of the World Fair Trade Organization. And that gives us access to a whole lot of buyers out there who are looking for products made in a fair trade environment. Primarily in Europe, crochet used to be a skill that a lot of people possessed. But as society moved forward and a lot of women stopped being at home and you know, moved into the workforce, that skill sort of died out. But a lot of people have an emotional attachment to when they see a crocheted product. So we're able to sort of bank on that emotional attachment, and our crocheted products do really well in the fair trade European market.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
We were recently going to buy gifts for some colleagues that we're going to be working with soon, and we found a crocheted lamb that we bought for our daughter.
Very cool.
And she loves it, but she
Yeah.
still thinks it's an artichoke.
Archuk.
That's sweet. Yeah, no, it's been really, really inspirational to be able to, you know, go out to like a remote village in Armenia that nobody visits to begin with, and you're there with like Injetna to like work with these people and, you know, like provide them jobs. Like I remember when I was first back, we went on like a 4-day producer partner visit trip. Like we went all over the country. And like the first night I was sitting in Gapan with a room full of female entrepreneurs talking about like quality control. And I was just like, when did my life take this turn? But it was so awesome. It was so awesome.
Wow.
It was a really cool experience. Yeah.
Well, I have a question. If I were a woman living in a village in Armenia, let's say Malishka village, you know that there's a village like that.
Don't make villages up on the air.
No,
you know?
Steven, I'm not making. I swear.
Malishka in Russian is like
Little
youngster.
Yeah,
Like in the village of youngster.
Okay, now listen.
Is that real?
Yes, and it's the biggest
seriously?
village in Armenia, which is
I'm
called
very
Baby.
sorry.
Like,
I'm very
little-
sorry.
Well, it is.
To everyone living in Malishka.
Hello.
Malishka, извините.
And I even know a girl from there.
Really?
Who is a well-known singer now.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Okay, so if I was a woman living
Right.
there, how would I become active in what you talk about?
Okay,
What
so
you
there's
do?
a few criteria that you would need to fit into. One, you would need to work in a group. So you would have to have other women with you to be able to create the products, because we need to know that if we have a bulk order for your product, that you'd be able to fulfill it. So if you're just, you know, there's a lot of people who do handicrafts, but they work by themselves, and we can't start engaging with that person because we work to get large export orders. So if that order came, that person wouldn't be able to fulfill it. So the first criteria is to be able to work in a group. Obviously, being from a village is one of the criteria, but you've already filled that. And being
Living in Malishka.
living in Malishka, it's a criteria.
You don't work with women living in Yerevan, for instance.
Generally, no. We have started working with Syrian Armenian women who are in Yerevan, but there are only producers who are in Yerevan.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
And then the next criteria is to be
I have to move to Malishka and start making something.
a registered
Crochet.
legal entity. You have to be able to legally invoice us for every single one of your products because, like I said, we are primarily an export organization. If we're exporting our products without a paper trace, we wouldn't be able to.
Right.
So work in a group, be from a village, and be a registered legal entity.
Is that a difficult thing for a woman living in a village to become a registered legal entity?
There is some cost associated with it, and the difficult thing isn't for them to register, but it's for them to look at their handicraft skill as a business. For a lot of these women, it's never been a business; it's always just been a hobby.
Yeah.
Right. So
they
to
make
instill,
gifts for their nieces.
yeah. So to instill that business mindset is where the difficulty comes in. In terms of the actual registration, usually, I mean, the costs aren't high, and if they start working with us, they'd be able to cover it generally, we help them out with that as much as we can. And it's not difficult. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just that
just
instilling that business mindset is, meeting deadlines, ensuring quality control and things like that, And some of our producers are like artists, they don't really want to have to deal with that kind of stuff. But if you want this to succeed, if you want, to generate income from this, you need to get into that business mode at least a little bit.
How long has been this foundation
HCIF
functioning?
is functioning for about 5 years now.
Oh.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And your distribution list, is it quite long now?
In terms of countries?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Germany, Sweden, Norway, Canada, United States, Australia.
Cool.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have a service of delivery presents from here to there? For instance, I have an uncle living in Switzerland, and I want to send him like few
Sure.
few crafts.
Yeah, no problem. We can do that for you.
Cool.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
From Armenia.
Yeah.
Because
That's amazing.
That's a really cool service.
for sure.
So what is the biggest change you've seen in someone's life working at this foundation? I mean, because it's a really changing experience, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
For women who are involved.
for
in
sure,
this.
for sure. It's hard to gauge. Providing a woman in a remote village who's in a vulnerable situation with a source of income and the independence that's associated with having your own source of income can be limitless. They might be in a tough situation at home that they're not able to leave because of financial dependency. So if this came along, they might be able to to leave that situation. In a lot of ways, it's given a lot of people hope, and emigration from this country is a huge issue, and the number one reason for that is the lack of jobs. So our organization stepping in and providing jobs for 200 women gives them hope that they can stay here and they can succeed. So I think just that change of mentality and approach to where they live and how they can live there is probably the biggest change.
Do you teach certain women who want to learn? I
So-
mean, maybe they haven't done this before. They haven't done anything, handmade craft.
For sure.
But they want to learn and join your project.
There's a ton of women out there who already possess many skills and who are able to produce products at a very high quality. It doesn't make sense for us to engage in training new women when there's already women that we can work with who don't have enough work to do, and that was one of our goals, was to use skills that women already possess. Let's not waste time teaching people like an old dog new tricks. Let's use what they have.
Yeah, why build a factory where they would have all of these
Exactly.
jobs they'd have to learn?
Exactly. A crochet hook costs 200 dirham, and that's all you need to be able to run this business, essentially, and a place to work, and most of them work from home.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of sustainability associated with this, and one of our goals right now is to ensure that our existing producer partners are able to really grow and do the marketing themselves, do the outreach themselves, and then that'll give us the opportunity to move on to another group of women. And our organization's goal is to create jobs, and right now handicrafts serve as a tool for us to be able to do that. But one day it could be something else. It could be ecotourism or whatever. We've already started engaging in having our producer partners be tourist attractions, where there's an ecotourism company who will organize a tour in a specific area, and a visit to our producer partner will be part of that. Will be part of that tour. So
Like
them engaging with the tourists and developing their customer service and things like that is really going to allow them to grow.
Is it like people, tourists visiting their homes and watching how they make it?
Yeah. So most of our groups do have a space that they work from. So a visit to that office or that space would be part of the tour. Yeah.
Nice.
Do if we have ceramic producers where you can go and paint your own cup or get your cup customized and try your hand at it or whatever it might be. Yeah.
Shant, do you ever think about something and then are there any thoughts that you ever have that you don't share with anyone?
Yeah.
You didn't expect that. Okay.
Are you gonna ask me what one of those are?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Because you're not gonna tell us anyway. And, you know what I was wondering? Were there any examples of husbands, for instance, of these women not letting them?
Was there any family conflict in business?
Some Armenian thing,
yeah, that's a good question.
Seeing them developing and
Right.
then not letting them to go into this further.
We haven't encountered anything to that degree where they weren't allowed to work. There has been some issues with husbands. I don't want to go too into it, but yeah, it does come up. Of course, it's part of the reality that we live in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just pictured it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ina's thinking about that time that she started her crochet business.
Good old times.
And her son Sasha was like, "You can't. You're not allowed, Mom."
You can't have a business.
Right, this time is really close. He's telling me when I'm outside, he calls from my mom's phone.
Yeah.
Through Viber and tells me to turn on the video.
Turn on the video, Mom. I want to see where you are and who you're with.
That's really cute.
Yeah, this is very funny. He's gonna turn. In a few days he's gonna turn 4, so this is very cute, of course. I imagine what's gonna happen in a few years, but yeah, let's get back to our subject. What do you dislike about Armenia? Except the pants, okay? We know.
We understand. You don't have to tell us about the sweatpants again.
I'm working through it. I'm getting help. I think what I like most about living here, especially in Yerevan, is the accessibility of everything. I'm a live music fanatic, and I'm able to go to if I wanted to, a live show every night. And financially, it's feasible. The city is
distance-wise.
Yeah. So I really love that. That I can go to work, go out, go to a show, and still make it home at a reasonable hour because everything's so close. I'm not spending too much money. So just that, I guess the accessibility of having an active social life is what I really enjoy most about living here. What I dislike is sort of when you come across any sort of authority, the importance placed on the dumbest things is at such a high degree, and then things that should have a lot of importance placed on them have are just like, whatever, it's cool, you know. Yeah, man.
Really?
Oh, can you give us some examples? We don't really understand what you're talking about.
We have a question. Does political system support what you're doing?
Yeah.
Right?
How do you must? Yeah, I mean, and
So
a foundation this big must have some relationship to the
one of the
government.
biggest issues that we face as an organization is the fact that organizations like PayPal and any online payment platforms
yeah.
don't function in Armenia.
Right.
And that really, really, really holds us back,
Yeah.
as you might imagine. And so we've recently brought on a volunteer who will work on developing a sort of a strategy or some research material as to why PayPal should come to Armenia. And we've actually received some positive feedback and encouragement and help from the Center for Strategic Initiatives that the new Prime Minister put in place. So we're working with them, and that volunteer is working half-time with us and with them to move this idea forward. So in that
Nice.
sense, we have received cooperation. Yeah, and in some cases, you know, with like the whole lot of bureaucracy and paperwork and all of that stuff does hold us back, and there's no way around that, and I wish there was, but
Speaking
That's-
about all of this, do you believe in miracles?
So, do you?
yes.
Oh.
I think the fact that I'm living in Armenia right now is kind of a miracle, so I want to say yes.
That is awesome. Well, at the risk of making our favorite person at Radio Von Mary upset, I still wanted to put a song on. So we're going to listen to a song right now.
Let's do it.
Get lucky.
A short one, I guess.
Pharrell.
I hope.
Yeah, it's a short one, and then we'll have a quick break, and we'll be right back. So don't go
Alright.
away. We're still here in our favorite
With
studio,
Sean.
103.1
One.
Radio Von. You're listening to Homesick at Home
With Steven
Sean.
Oxner.
Ina MK and
Steven Oxner.
And?
Sean. Chuck Mug.
The sunset over the mountains.
Lake Sevan.
Homesick. At home.
Yerevan. We're back in our studio with our guest, Shant Chakmak. This is Homesick at Home, our English-speaking show on 103.1 Radio Van, number one in Yerevan. Whew.
Take a break. Take
Yeah,
a
I
break.
did it. Okay, since our show is called Homesick at Home, and we always ask this question to our guests. You have the experience of being away from your blood roots, and you have the experience now of being away from where you were born, actually. So where is your home at the end of the day?
It's a good question. I do feel a great sense of comfort being here. Like I mentioned earlier, having been an active member of my Armenian community back home, I was just constantly struggling to maintain my identity, and that takes a whole lot of effort. It takes a big chunk of your life, and being here and not having to worry about that, preserving my language and thinking about
Where you're going to find Basuma.
And not proving
exactly.
anything, maybe.
I'm able to think about myself in a very different way, and provide more importance to aspects of myself that I didn't, because I was
Busy with
putting so
something
much
else.
time and effort of my mind towards preserving my identity.
Yeah.
So being able to be in Armenia and not having to just pour that much effort and time and devote so much of my thinking to that really provides me with a lot of comfort. And it's great to now give importance to aspects of myself that I never did before, and think about myself in a very different way. And I'm very, very grateful to have had this opportunity to do that.
And still, where is your home?
You didn't answer the question.
I guess I would say it's here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you miss
Aw.
Canada?
I do miss Canada, of course.
What are
course.
the things you miss the most?
Yeah.
I miss my friends. I miss driving. I miss driving a lot.
Wait, you don't drive?
I haven't driven here.
You haven't driven?
No, I mean, everything's so accessible in Yerevan by walking, which is great.
Yeah,
I didn't get
right,
to do
right.
that back home, you know.
Right, you had to drive.
I had to
everywhere.
drive everywhere.
Yeah.
But I do miss driving. To me, it was very therapeutic.
What about traveling the regions, visiting all these women at
Yeah.
the villages?
I don't get to drive when we go on those trips. But
What about, just so everyone knows, we're talking about a foundation that creates jobs for women with craft skills that they already have.
that's correct. Thanks for the clarification. I really appreciate
Just in
that.
case anyone just started listening to us. What about all these women, Sean? You just throw them in the back of your limousine?
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Okay, no. But really, how do you get to all of the regions? You have a driver, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for the
My
foundation.
boss has a car and he drives
Oh,
usually,
yeah,
or
cool.
someone from our office drives.
Yeah.
I can't drive stick. That's like kind of the biggest problem.
Oh,
If I was able to
lots
drive
of-
stick, I'd probably be able to like drive my boss's car once in a while. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I should just learn.
You could try.
It might be a good idea.
Sean,
Yeah.
what is someone or something you try to stay away from in life? Except the pens.
Something I tried to stay away
Just in case
from in
anyone is
life.
just starting to listen to us.
Uh,
Sean has a phobia of sweatpants.
I do have a phobia of sweatpants. It's true. I think it
Thank
would.
you, Steven. You're helping me so.
I'm really
Just trying to
loving this
cover all the
clarification,
bases,
man.
you know.
Like, you got my back. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
I'm here for you.
I think it would probably be disrespect. That's something that I
Oh.
would stay away from, for sure. It's not something I can tolerate. It's not something I like to be around. So if there was someone who is disrespectful, or if I see disrespect, that's something that I distance myself from.
What is respect?
I think it's has a lot to do with being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and understand that,
And pants?
you know, and pants.
Put yourself. Oh, in the.
Go ahead.
Respect has
Yeah.
a lot to do with putting yourself in
Just-
someone else's pants. Are you serious? He's talking about
Thanks for coming
mutual understanding, Ina.
Mutual understanding.
Mutual understanding. Can you try to put yourself in my shoes here?
Yeah, he's got nice shoes.
you have a bigger size. I don't know. You won't definitely put yourself in mine. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's just understanding other people's perspective. To me, that's respect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
You're quite welcome. How much money does one need to consider themselves a wealthy person?
Do we have to talk about that in terms of money? I guess that's your answer.
Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah. So there isn't an amount.
I guess not.
No.
I think when it comes to money, it's just a matter of being able to survive. And then if you're after that, if you're going to calculate wealth, it really doesn't have to do with money.
What does it have to do with? What is wealth?
For me, it's just, you know, being around people that I love, live music. It's key,
Oh yeah.
key to
okay.
happiness. If you're unhappy, just go listen to some live music. It'll, you know, does the trick every time. Or pick up an instrument yourself. That helps too.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
What instruments do you pick up?
I play the saxophone.
You play the saxophone.
Yeah, cool.
Did you bring it with you?
No.
If we only knew.
If we only knew.
What a shame.
You didn't have it in your bio.
Oh yeah, it wasn't in the bio.
It
so
wasn't
we
in the
couldn't have
bio.
known.
No.
A sax player. We've got a sax player in the
Awesome.
room.
Do you play
What
somewhere?
kind of music do you like to listen to most?
Funk.
Funk.
I love funk.
Oh.
I just like makes me feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
So this is your creative side.
Yeah, I guess.
Is this the way you relax, or
Yeah, without a doubt.
you do?
I mean,
it
I could
for
have
fun?
like the worst day ever. I could be as sad or pissed off as I want to be, if I just go home, listen to some music or play some music, it just melts away. It melts away, and I'm consider myself very lucky to have something like that in my life. You know, where I can just rely on it all the time. Like my saxophone is not going to disappoint me. She's great. I love it.
Do you invent music or?
No, I haven't written any music myself. No.
Do you play funk?
A little bit. When I play, I like to listen to funk.
Yeah.
When I play, I like to play a lot of like oldies and more classical stuff. It's just what I enjoy playing more.
Yeah.
I do a lot of like covers of like Frank Sinatra or like stuff like that. Just like to be honest, I really wish I could sing. Like I really, really wish I could sing. I have a horrible voice, and the saxophone is one of the instruments that I have a horrible voice.
Sing
Horrible
something. Come
voice.
on.
Steven
No,
can
it's not gonna
sing.
happen.
Ina
And a
can
saxophone
sing.
emulates a
Steven can
human
sing.
voice in a very interesting way. Like you can
Uh-huh.
play with the note in
Yeah.
a saxophone, like when you're blowing it, the same way that you can when you sing. And so I think that's what attracted me to the saxophone a lot. So I like to play songs that I would like to sing. Basically, is what I do when I
Oh.
play.
This is like the way you deal with the
Yeah.
torture
Exactly.
of feeling like you don't have a real voice.
Exactly.
Everyone can sing.
I can't
though.
sing, dude. Trust me, I can't sing.
Don't make him do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Sean, do you have any vices?
Do I have any vices? Yeah, I procrastinate a lot.
Oh, dang,
It sucks.
really?
I
I
hate it.
hear you here.
How do you have
Yeah.
such cool job offers with that
Uh,
vice of yours?
I guess when it like push comes to shove, I get my work done. It's not that like I don't get my work done. I just leave it
Uh-huh.
to the last minute.
Yeah. Do you have all-nighters?
Like
Come
when
on.
I need to get something done, I'll get it done.
Yeah.
No matter what position my procrastination has put me in. When I need to get something done, I will get it
You
done.
do
When I
it.
put my mind to something, I get it done.
Yeah.
But it sucks that I like put myself in that position where like I have to bust ass at the last minute. Like,
Yeah,
it
just to
sucks.
get
It
it there.
sucks. And every time I'm like, I'm not gonna
Never
do this
again.
next time. I'm not gonna do this next time. But I still do it.
Just in case you
That's
were
what
wondering, Ina,
happens with
bust
me.
ass means work really hard.
Yeah.
There you go. Get my back once again.
Thank you.
Before I forget, I'm sorry to change the subject so rapidly, but we received a very mysterious gift today at Radio
Oh,
Home.
yeah.
For the
Yeah.
first time ever. Right? This is the first time Homesick at Home has ever received any, and it's so
But it was-
shocking that it happened today.
It was so
Because I'll read-
touching.
Yeah, and it was an amazing bouquet of flowers. That's it. Correct?
Yeah,
I'm not lying,
it's,
right?
it's awesome.
It's in our
But,
room here, so you can see it if you go on our Facebook page.
So we want to know, who are you?
And we have this
The
this very mysterious, very beautiful letter. It says, "Dear Ina MK,
Mm.
we want to say a big thank you for your work. Homesick at Home program is a valuable platform to speak up about feelings of people with different cultural backgrounds who happen to live in our homeland. We follow and we value the work of the best ones, best with a capital B. P.S. Greetings to Stephen Oxne." I think maybe it just didn't get the R didn't get in there. Oxne.
Yeah.
With
Oxnard.
love, and then this is the most mysterious part. Barbian floral.
Brabion.
Oh, Brabion. Sorry. Brabian Flora Service. This is not. I mean, I
Did you
don't.
guys
I don't
Google
have
it?
anything against making an advertisement for you,
Yeah, this is not an
Brabian
advertisement.
Flora Service, because you gave us such an amazing gift. But I don't even know where you're located, until today I didn't know that you
It's
existed.
one of the first flower services in Yerevan.
Really?
Yeah.
But
But-
I have a sneaking suspicion that this is from a very specific person. And I would like to know, Irene, did you send us flowers?
Confess.
How did you know that we were going to do this show today where I
Because-
was going to host with Ina?
Because I had an announcement on Facebook.
Oh!
Ta-da!
So that's what happened.
I mean, it's not
Irene-
hard to believe that someone just randomly sent you guys flowers. You're pretty awesome people.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
dang it.
But
You gotta stay
we're
there.
really touched.
Oh.
So thank you, whoever it is. Whichever service this is, whoever you are, we're sending you lots of positive energy and
Big hugs.
big hugs and lots of love.
Lots of love and understanding.
You made our evening, right?
Yeah.
Really.
That's unbelievable.
Stole my thunder.
Yeah.
No one can steal your thunder. Your name
That's true.
means thunder.
That's true.
By the way, have you ever been
Damn,
on
you're
Shant
just, like,
TV?
At it, man. Just having my back tonight. I love it. It's awesome.
Have you been on Shant TV?
I haven't.
They haven't invited you?
No,
They don't know about you yet?
I guess not.
They
Right,
should.
They should.
Shant
Now
on
they
Shant.
will. They
That
they
would be
have
cool.
to they have to know about you now. Well, I hope they've been our partners in a lot of different
That's cool.
projects.
So I gain enough satisfaction just eating Shant ice cream.
Oh, it's like I taste so good.
Oh yeah,
It's so
great.
creamy. It's so sweet. Man, I love myself.
Too far.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah.
Flowers make strange things to people.
What do you mean?
Flowers.
Yeah.
We're just in
It's
the
got us
air
all loopy.
tonight.
Oh, yeah. The
Right.
flowers.
I think we'd be loopy regardless.
Right. That's correct.
Just we like having something to blame for now, you know?
Yeah, that's always good to have a
Yeah, yeah.
scapegoat
Exactly.
for your shenanigans.
I have a question.
Okay, Ina has some serious things that she'd like
Yeah,
to talk
very
about.
serious. Okay.
Lay it on me.
So you made this transition from political science to marketing,
Right.
right? And was it difficult, first of all? And then, do you have any? Are you involved somehow in local politics? I
Mhm.
mean, not involved, but are you interested, or what do you think about Armenian politics?
For
overall?
sure. I'm not very involved here. I like to keep myself aware just because I do have a political interest and I do come from a political background. I can't stop myself from keeping myself aware. I was able to serve as a citizen observer during the last election, and that was a really cool experience, and I'm really glad that I got to experience that. Did witness some interesting things. I think for me the most interesting part was like when we were doing the ballot count and like some of the things people had written on the ballots and stuff was really interesting. Just
For example,
one of some of them were just like funny and weird and stupid.
is there a part of the ballot where it's just like a box that says comments?
No, they just like spoiled their ballot by
Oh, they
writing
just
something
wrote
on it.
something on
Yeah, they were just trying to like prove a point. One of them was like Sasna Zerev Menkter Kaliseng. I was like, oh shit.
Wait a second. Help the poor ignorant American. What does that mean?
Sasna Zerev is like an organization.
Like a revolution.
Yeah.
Oh,
Revolutionist.
yeah, revolution organization.
Sasnatsare, we're still coming.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Something
Yeah, that's a way to really get things done.
Yeah.
Spoil your ballot by saying we're coming.
Yeah.
When are you guys coming? When is it gonna happen?
We're waiting.
Okay. right.
But yeah, other than that, like switching to marketing was a cool experience. I really don't have any background in it, so I'm sort of learning as I go. But it's been a really cool experience. I'm glad that I'm able to try
Was it
something
hard?
different. Was definitely. I still struggle, and I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to teach myself as much as I can as I'm actually doing the job. And there is a sort of difficulty associated with that, but it's also a challenge, and I'm always up for a challenge. So it's been great. I'm really just happy that I got to try something different, and I was able to distance myself from the work environment that I was in, and now experience a very, very different type of work environment, working with a very different type of people, and that to me was
A specific market.
the biggest change. Obviously, you know, politics is a tough game, and a lot of the people that are around you want something from you, you know, and it's not an easy environment to be in. And you don't realize how much of an effect it has on you until you're able to gain some distance from it and are able to work in an environment where there's so much, people are so genuine, you know, and for me that was a big change, and I'm really glad I had that opportunity.
Thanks.
It's a pretty amazing experience talking to you, because we meet a lot of people having this show and being connected to the English speaking world in Armenia, and it turns out a lot of the times to be quite inspiring. But this is a pretty exceptional experience for me, because it seems like you're doing what I meet a lot of Peace Corps people, a lot of what they would have liked to have done. And I do not mind saying this on the air. I do think that the Peace Corps has maybe too rigid of a structure, and that they're trying to do something in too rigid of a way that doesn't necessarily fit Armenia as a place and as a culture. It seems like your foundation has given you personally an opportunity to go and do something that's very meaningful to you, helping other people.
Yeah,
It's
without
a pretty
a doubt.
amazing
You hit the nail on the
experience
head, for sure.
to meet you here.
For sure. Yeah, it's been a really great experience, and I'm happy that I'm still on this train and keep chugging along.
Yeah.
What would you advise people who are thinking of repatriating?
Oh yeah.
Benefits,
Uh,
challenges, maybe some advice. I don't know. What would you tell them?
I guess what I would tell them is trying it is so worth it. I think that you really can't go wrong by coming out here. Like, one of the things that we talked about earlier was, for me, I was active in my community back home, and I was working towards the Armenian cause. I used air quotes there. And there was a lot of people who...
that means that he doesn't really believe the words that he's saying out loud.
Thank you for translation and clarification.
And there was a lot of people that I met here who didn't have that connection, but still felt something towards Armenia and have come here. So I think regardless, as a race, we have something in us that forces us to want to work towards creating a better Armenia. And if you are going to work towards it, if you are going to ever create any sort of change, you need to be exposed to the reality. Without having a clear understanding of what the reality is, you cannot change it. So expose yourself to it. Come here, even if it doesn't matter how long, but dedicate some time to exposing yourself to that reality, and then work towards facilitating the change. Don't work towards facilitating change without having a clear understanding of the reality. So for that reason, I think that it would be extremely beneficial for many Armenians to come and spend some time here, for sure.
And
amazing speech.
I know.
I think this is the closing.
Yeah. In the wise words of my friend from college, Quinn Gassaway, that was a truth bomb.
Like, my ability to give toast has improved so much since I've been here.
Wow.
I give a mean toast, man. We should go drinking sometime.
Okay.
Yeah, I should do that. I have a feeling that I
on the
know
docket.
Shant, even though I've met him once. Well, when we had the Repad
Yeah, I remember.
Armenia
you guys met
event.
before, yeah.
But we didn't get a chance to interact. But still, I have a feeling that I known you. So thanks for being with us tonight. Unfortunately, we're done.
It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and it happened again.
Yeah, as it always
Over
does.
and over again. Yeah.
The evening flies by.
Evening flew by. We really enjoyed this evening with you.
It was an absolute pleasure. Really glad I could be here.
Thanks for coming here. Hope your friends enjoyed the show. And in case somebody missed it, we'll send you the link.
Cool.
And follow our page because we're gonna post our video version of our episode.
Awesome. I'll
This
look out
was
for it.
Homesick at Home on Radio Van 103.1. I always had trouble.
It used to be 103.0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was the difficulty.
And have a great weekend and amazing Friday night.
Yes, thank you. You've been listening to Homesick at Home with Ina MK.
And my lovely friend Steven Oxner.
Radio One.